pandemic has allowed
A little more volume,
to
please.
worship together
I'm
on
at
Sundays
max
or virtual
on everything.
children's service
It's a
and
really
share
quiet
the
video.
love of God. The pandemic has also allowed us to continue Sunday school on other days of the week. On Fridays during the summer of 2020, Pastor Kirby was able to conduct a children's Bible study for the children inside and outside of our church community. We continue to have adult Bible study virtually on Thursdays. Our Advent season was a little bit different this year, as I'm sure many were. We put together Advent bags containing prayers, tea-light candles, prayer chains, hot chocolate, and candy canes to remind us of what Jesus did for us, and some other little things to help us feel the closeness of being together while apart. Before the pandemic hit, we would gather at the church and caravan to different local nursing homes and sing Christmas carols. We would share some stories and smile with those who came to listen to the joyful music. We also would hold our annual Christmas pageant reenacting the Christmas story in many different ways. One year we had the congregation all dress up in different outfits, either a shepherd, angels, and everybody would join in the pageant. Another year we had a real baby playing the part of Jesus. Well, another year we had a superhero Christmas. Every year is a little different, yet every year is so much fun. Typically, we gather in our fireside room for a small Ash Wednesday service and sing hymns as we receive ashes. However, this year, we used whatever we had on hand, from lotion to oil to ashes from the fireplace. On Palm Sunday, anyone who is willing and able received palm branches. Then we walk around the sanctuary waving our branches and singing. The past year, our congregation got creative using silk palms and paper palm branches to wave virtually. Monday, Thursday is a more intimate evening service, which starts with foot washing, and the chairs are set up in two circles on either side of one on either side of the sanctuary, one for men and one for women. And our meal is much like we believe would have been eaten by Jesus in those times. This consists of a meat and broth sop, nuts, grapes, raisins, and unleavened bread. We honor Good Friday and Holy Saturday. For Easter, we go around the neighborhood handing out invitations to join us for Easter breakfast, which is prepared by our youth, followed by a special Easter service, and concluding with an Easter egg hunt for all the children outside on the church lawn. During the summer, we get together making signs and handing out flyers to the surrounding communities to join us for Vacation Bible School. This is where we invite all school-age children to join us for fun-filled activities centered around Christ. On Youth Sunday, we enjoy having the children run the worship service and read scripture. During late summer to early fall, we have friends and family join us together for Family Fun Day and Game Night. For Family Fun Day, we listen to live music and play games together as a group, whereas Family Game Night is where we bring different card games and board games and set them up for all to play. Since Pastor Kirby has been with us, she has introduced our congregation to contemporary worship to add to our traditional worship. We have hopes to resume everything that we have missed out on in the past year. Peace be with you.
Ryan, why don't we go ahead and let's introduce Joni and start right in, if that's okay. Is that okay with you?
That works for me. Let me get the deck prepared, and we can be on our way. I believe Joni is on the line now. I think I saw her join.
I'm right here. Yep.
Howdy. And then, like we talked about on email, well, I'll play through, and we'll let the presentation run itself.
Okay, I'm gonna say something at the beginning real quick.
Okay.
Because I didn't exactly know how this was gonna work, and so I think I got overcomplicated. But if you've got a pencil and paper anywhere near you, if you'll take the time at the beginning to write down what you think happens to you as you age, the things you have no choice in, just happens. And then at the end of the presentation, I want you to look at that list and see if what you believe about aging is actually true based on what you saw. Does that make sense? Okay, am I easy to hear?
Yep, I hear you just fine.
Okay,
That makes sense. I think maybe before I start the presentation, we'll give folks a few minutes to jot things down. And then I can start the presentation.
perfect.
So I am writing down my predictions right now, and I can't wait to see how right or wrong I am. Okay, and I am going to start the presentation here. Now, this one I have to be hands off, so for those of you who are co-hosting, ping me with text messages if you need to communicate with me directly.
Hello, my name is Joni Grant. I'm an ACSM certified personal trainer. I'm 65 years old, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. I will pop in at certain points. Most of the presentation's narrated, but I will pop in just to make clarifications and make sure what I'm saying is clear and understood. And at the end, I've provided my contact information. So if you'd like to get in touch with me or if you have comments, I would love to hear them. So with no further ado, let's get started.
So who am I? I am 65 years old and a retired desk jockey. I do not have a history in fitness, and if I did go to the gym, it was to jump on the treadmill. It never crossed my mind to pick up a dumbbell or a kettlebell or to do anything that faintly resembled strength training. But at 59, I discovered the other side of the gym and I started working out. And because of that, I learned something that I'd like to share with you. This me, the one on the left, didn't know that the smiling me was even possible. And this presentation isn't about losing weight, although a fitness program helped. This presentation is about becoming strong. When I was in my 50s, I was starting to struggle with stairs, and I was wearing out mowing the yard, and I had to buy dog food in smaller bags because I couldn't carry the bigger bags. I felt old. In the second picture, I was 60. I was strong and fast, and the issues with the stairs and carrying heavy things were gone. My blood pressure and cholesterol improved, and I had just completed a powerlifting competition. Rest assured, you don't have to lift heavy to get the benefits I did. So stay with me for a while. Don't let the word powerlifting scare you off. As I started getting stronger and feeling better, I learned some new things. I learned that I can impact, to some extent, how I age. I learned that I can change my future. The future that I had envisioned for myself at 58, 55, had changed decidedly as I got stronger and felt better. And I learned that I have to share what I know, because I'm assuming that if it was new information for me, it might be new information for you folks too. There are some things I would like you to believe and to understand. So I'd like you to believe that resistance training can impact your memory. It can impact executive function. Executive function is how your brain allows you to juggle numbers, to do math in your head, to multitask, and to manage your anger when you're with a teenager who's texting. So it's an important part of your brain health. And that resistance training can also very positively impact your heart health. So what I'm trying to sell you is belief in yourself. I want you to believe that regardless of your age, you can be stronger, you can be more stable, and you can be more flexible. So without further ado, let's move on and talk about the myths surrounding aging. I want you to learn two important things. Much of what you know about aging is surrounded by myth. And I want you to understand that aging can be different than you imagine. There are only two kinds of people in this world. Those of us who have gotten old and the people who haven't gotten there yet. But this information applies to both groups because the earlier you start training to age, the better the results are and the easier it is. So if you are young, the information I'm about to share applies to you too. So we've got three myths we're going to talk about here. The first one is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Don't exercise or you'll get hurt. And don't pick up more than 10 pounds. So let's look at you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Of course you can. I was an old dog and I learned lots of new tricks. And all of my clients, regardless of age, the oldest is 81 now, have learned new tricks. In fact, I had a 79-year-old lady who learned to deadlift and fell in love with it. She literally glowed. Did she pick up a heavy weight? No. But she was 79 and she was picking up some weight and she glowed. Don't exercise or you'll get hurt. I think it should be changed to if you don't exercise, you'll get hurt. Look, folks, we have our lives to live. We have yards to take care of. We have grandkids to chase. Even if you don't have that right now, you have groceries to carry in. You have to stay strong or eventually you'll get hurt. You're losing muscle mass. You've got to keep it built up to stay safe. And don't pick up more than 10 pounds. I guess that could be true if you've had surgery or there's a medical reason why you shouldn't pick up more than 10 pounds. Absolutely understood. But if there's not a good reason, you probably live your life picking up more than 10 pounds. Groceries and bags of mulch and, your grandchild. You pick up one grandchild, you've got more than 10 pounds in your hands. So you need to train to pick up enough weight so that you can do the things you want to do in life. Let's tackle three more myths. Don't move fast, you'll get hurt. Women don't lift weights, and all you need to do is. So don't move fast, you'll get hurt. We are slowing down as we age. But there are safe and effective ways to train so that you can retain some of the speed you need. Some of the speed that you might need to get a foot on a brake, or to throw a leg out in front of you to stop a fall, or to grab a grandchild heading for the road. We don't necessarily have to become Speedy Gonzales, but we can do things to maintain some of our ability to move quickly so that we have that speed when we need it. Women don't lift weights. Now, please understand when I use the word lift weights, the weight could be a 2-pound dumbbell. But I have lots of women, it's taken quite a conversation to get them off the treadmill and picking up dumbbells or kettlebells or even body weight or a band. Because it's in their head that women just don't do that. They'll get hurt, and that's just not their purview. But women are the caregivers of the world. Women will end up probably caring for their husbands. They care for other family members. They carry in groceries. They have to live in this world. And to do that as you age, you need strength. So
It's perfectly okay for a woman to learn how to move weight, to build muscle, or at least maintain her muscle mass as she ages so she can do the things she wants to do. And all you need to do is, I hate this one. I hear it all the time. All you need to do is do this workout 2 days a week and you'll be fine. You don't need to do anything else. And it just takes 10 minutes. All you need to do is drink this every morning and you don't have to worry about anything else. I wish life was that simple, but it just isn't. So when anything is preceded by all you need to do is, it's time to worry. So right now, I'd like to talk about the term compliant aging. This is my term. It's not a scientific term, and it simply means, to me, aging without intervention. And I didn't know you could intervene in how you aged a few years ago. I didn't know that there were multiple paths I could take based on how hard I was willing to work. I just thought aging was a thing that happened to you. So we're going to talk about compliant aging, aging without intervention, and the next few slides are just going to talk about what happens as we age to our bodies. And then we will move on from there to talk about the things we can do to intervene in the aging process. So let's move on. So let's talk about muscle loss. Muscle loss, the medical term is sarcopenia. We lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass each decade after 30. So obviously, if we lose muscle mass, we become weaker. But we also become slower. We've talked about that, which puts us at a risk for falls and fractures. So let's start with falls. Part of falling is simply the inability to stop yourself. So if you fall, and if you've also losing bone mass, that puts you at risk for a fractured hip, and that's very serious. Muscle loss is one part of what I call the evil triad: muscle loss, bone loss, and balance. Osteoporosis is the second leg of the evil triad. Osteopenia is early bone loss. Osteoporosis is more severe bone loss. And you can see in the three pictures the progression of osteoporosis. In that third picture, severe osteoporosis, that person could probably break that bone by simply bumping into a table. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men over the age of 50 will be affected by a broken bone due to osteoporosis. So it's no joke. And men don't get a free pass. In women over 45, fractures due to osteoporosis result in more days spent in the hospital than many other diseases, including diabetes, heart attack, and breast cancer. And it can lead to hip fractures, and hip fractures are right on the road to losing our independence. So osteoporosis is a life changer if it proceeds to the final stages. So if you're of an age, you already know that your balance deteriorates every year. And it's caused by a lot of different issues. You can have inner ear issues, failing vision. There's a term called proprioception, and it's just the ability of your feet and legs to sense what position you're in. You can have an issue with joint and muscle strength. And then there's other issues that can impact your balance, like the medications you're on and your heart. So balance is really complex. And resistance training is not going to fix your balance. But like this woman here doing a bird dog, it can impact your core strength to help you stay in the proper position. So with trained age, we focus on stability. You lose stability if you do nothing. And with resistance training, you can build stability. As we age, our memory begins to deteriorate. If you're of an age, you know what that feels like. I can lose glasses that are on my head or walk into a room and forget why I'm there. Your executive function begins to deteriorate, which includes the ability to multitask. Our brain-body coordination doesn't work as well, and our brains begin to lose track of where our hands and feet are. So all this is a very slow process, but this is what's happening to our brains over time. So as we age, how do we compensate? We compensate by rolling out of chairs instead of simply standing up. We grab the arms, we lean forward, and then kind of propel ourselves into a standing position. Our life diminishes as we're able to do less of what we'd like to do. We give up things we love because we don't have the energy to do them. It might be travel. We might find grandkids just too much for us to care for, or doing yard work that we used to love, but we just can't get up and down anymore. And eventually we give them up. And sometimes we become isolated. It becomes harder to climb stairs, or get in and out of a car, or go to a restaurant and sit in a booth. And you might find you don't have the energy to even go shopping or spend time with family. So we continue to change our lives as we compensate for aging. We've talked about what we lose or how we change as we age. So let's talk about training to age and how we can help improve ourselves as opposed to just a straight down the hill decline. So resistance training, lots of tools can help slow muscle loss and build new muscle. Does not have to be done standing. So if you need to do work in a chair, you can do resistance training. It also helps maintain bone density. When you do things, when you carry weights and you're holding that weight, you've got the weight basically, it's across your shoulders, down your spine, and across your hips. That's how our body bears weight. That helps keep or build bone density. Resistance training does more than you might think for your brain. So studies show it improves executive function, it helps you multitask, it helps you juggle numbers, it helps monitor your behavior so that behavior is appropriate. Studies have shown that it helps protect against dementia, and even after resistance training stops, the positive changes in your brain remain. And it improves brain-body coordination. So one of the things I see a lot is I will say to one of my new seniors, show me a bicep curl. And their brain may know what a bicep curl is, but that connection from their brain to their hands isn't solid because they haven't done it in a long time. So their hands may go any number of different directions. And then we'll practice it a couple times. I'll say, this is what it is. And pretty soon the connection's back. Oh, brain says, yes, this is a bicep curl. We do ladder drills where we go through a ladder and we step right foot and then both feet and then left foot and then both feet. And for some people, it's a real chore to get your brain to think about a pattern other than left, right, left, right. So resistance training helps us reconnect movement patterns and our brain, and it builds new connections in our brain. So it helps keep our brain healthy, and changes from exercise seem to be fairly long lasting. So resistance training can improve your balance by building stability. So in the top picture, these folks are sitting on balance balls, an unstable surface, and they have their arms above their heads, so which makes them even more unstable. So they're using their core to stay in an upright position and not roll off the ball. They're building core strength using their own body's resistance. The fella at the bottom is using core strength and leg strength and some flexibility to maintain his balance in that stance. So in both places, they're not fixing their issue of bad balance, but they are building a stable human being to help protect themselves from falls and to keep them in an upright position. So think about it like this. If you're a bridge with a weak base, you sway in the wind. If you build a bridge with a good, strong concrete base, the wind can blow all at once, but it can't move you. So building muscle, building a strong core is the same as building a strong base. You're better able to resist a fall from bad balance because you can support your body in an upright position. Let's talk a little about what train to age is. It's not easy. It's not magic. It's definitely not one size fits all because every senior is different. It takes time and it takes patience. This is one of my clients I've been training for a couple years. Her name's Lynn. And the picture on the left is about the size she was when she first started training. The picture on the right was taken a couple months ago. Well, it was taken pre-COVID because she didn't have a mask on. So Lynn's lost about 30 pounds. She's in the gym. She gets her hour a day in at least 6 days a week. She mixes it up with resistance training and cardio, and she likes the Stairmaster. So she's put the work in. And the thing that Lynn said to me that touched my heart the most is she said, now I feel like myself again. I think as we age, we start to lose who we are because the inside's not old. The inside's still, 15. The outside just seems to be falling apart. So she said that to me, and she continues to do the work. She is 67 years old in the picture on the right. So she has literally taken control and changed how she's aged. Let's talk about what train to age is. So the first dimension of training to age is strength training. And we've talked about the benefits here to your heart health, to brain health, to balance and stability, and just plain strength, whether you're doing body weight like this lady here, pushing against the floor, or picking up dumbbells or barbells or whatever. Strength training provides the benefits that you need as a senior as you're growing older. So this is also an example of strength training. This is one of my clients. She's trained with me for a pretty good bit of time, probably a year and a half, and she wanted to learn the deadlift. And so this is the first time she's picked up 100 pounds, and just enjoy her enjoying the moment. Look at me. Push through your heels. Push. All the way up. Down and tap. Push, push. All right. One more. Push. Down, drop it. Awesome. How much? 100 pounds. So you've just watched your deadlift and you're thinking, well, I don't want to deadlift. I understand that. It's not for everyone. But everyone bends over and picks up things from the floor, whether it's laundry or groceries or a bag of something. Deadlift form is how you do it safely. If you noticed at the beginning, her back was tight and I said push through your heels because when you're picking up heavy things, you never use your back. You push through your heels and bring your hips forward. So the fun stuff is deadlifting The functional is learning how to move in a way that you can pick up things without getting injured. This is my client, Jan. She takes group classes 3 days a week, and then she rides the bike another 2 days a week. She's pushing a sled. This is a tool that has multiple uses, so it's obviously strength training for her legs to do the pushing part. It's also speed training or power training because I'm asking her to move quickly with the sled. It's endurance training because it's great cardio. So this one move, pushing the sled across the gym, is strength, speed or power, and endurance training. And there are a lot of different tools that you can use to get multiple benefits from one action. So let's talk about the last two facets of training to age, stability training and mobility training. So now we've talked about the fact that stability training is important. The more stable we are, the less we're going to be impacted by our balance. And mobility training, because it's a use it or move it or use it world. So if you don't move your joints, you eventually lose the ability to move in a full range of motion. This is my client, Carol. She's in her 60s. She's doing a kettlebell windmill. It's a single move that is both strength, stability, and mobility. There are lots of moves that can be combined to cover all those facets. So it's not like you have to do 5 different kinds of trainings. You just have to do the right training to meet all the 5 dimensions of training to age. And most trainers or gyms can help you with that. So let's start this discussion on training by talking about the thing that I most often suggest people do if they can afford it, is to get a trainer. Why? A trainer can help you to train safely. If you have balance issues or you have shoulder issues or back issues, they can evaluate how you move and give you programs to help you maybe stand up straighter or walk with a better gait. They can provide variety. There's lots of things you can learn to do and lots of equipment you can learn to use, but in a lot of cases you need somebody to show you how to do that. And they can work around old injuries. I work around hip replacements and knee replacements and bad shoulders and torn rotator cuffs. And just because you have an injury doesn't mean you can't train. It just changes how you train. And a trainer is a really good place to start if you don't know how to do that. So, should you choose to look at a trainer, here's some of the things you need to take into account. Make sure that they are willing to take into account your history and whatever bumps and bruises you have from life. Make sure they have some experience training an older population. Make sure they're willing to progress your training and to challenge you and to help you move forward and get strong. Make sure they listen when you tell them something. And make sure that they understand the benefits you're trying to get from the training. There's literally no limit on the number of tools available for resistance training. You can always use your own body weight, like we talked about push-ups and squats and stand-ups from a chair. There are bands, exercise bands, dumbbells from any weight range you're interested in, barbells from 4 pounds to 45, suspension like TRX that might go over your door or over a bar at a gym. Kettlebells are awesome, and they work both power, balance, and resistance at the same time in a lot of cases. There are medicine balls. It literally is unlimited. You just need to find the tools that you enjoy using the most, that are the most effective for you, and go for it. So if you're not going to use a gym or a trainer, another option is group classes. You can Google group classes. They may be independent trainers. They may be part of gyms that you can find cycling, resistance training, boxing, all different kinds of group classes. Find something that interests you and helps fill out some facet of the 5 dimensions that you're trying to train for as you age. Senior centers often have classes if they're large enough. Park districts, especially metropolitan park districts, usually have a variety of classes, some targeted for seniors. You may find classes at your junior college. So just look around at your community and see what might be offered. I have workout at home as really a last option. You're always better to go and work out in a group someplace where you can stay safe, especially if your balance is bad or there's any chance you may fall. Then working out at home is not a good option. Finding a trainer, working with a class, working with someone who specializes in seniors is probably where you need to be. But if you choose to work out at home, Silver Sneakers has many on-demand videos targeted at seniors, and you don't have to be a Silver Sneakers member to use this one set of videos. Now, if your insurance pays for it and you are part of Silver Sneakers, there's a much larger selection. But even if you're not, Silver Sneakers has an on-demand group of videos just for seniors that are a great way to start. If you're in pretty good shape, there's also subscription services like Daily Burn, who literally have hundreds of workouts to choose from. And you can pick beginner, you can work on balance, you can work on strength, they have yoga, they have all kinds of things, but you have to make sure you're shopping around and finding your level. And while you're doing all of this, you want to pay attention to your goals. You want to train strength, speed, mobility, endurance, and stability. So, you got to look at your classes and see what classes are going to do that for you. Exercise does not have to be boring. Keep in mind, for your cardio days, there's dance. There's pickleball. It's a racket sport, mainly for seniors, played on a smaller court, but it's a pretty fast-moving sport. Swimming resistance training in a pool is great if you've got balance issues and you want to start in kind of a safe environment. Water aerobics are awesome. There's millions of options. You have to find those that will work for you. You have to move every day. We all know we stop moving, we get stiff. So find things you enjoy. Fill your days up, that 1 hour, with something that lifts you up and you enjoy. You might not enjoy it on day 1, but give it some time, you might be surprised. Take on the challenge of training to age. What does that look like? You want to train a minimum of an hour, 6 days a week. And I know I can see people cringing right now. It's your new job and it's only an hour. And think about that hour. Part of it is going to be warming up. Part of it is going to be cooling down and stretching. 30 to 40 minutes is going to be a workout. So you can't hardly go to the gym or do a program and get anything done in under an hour. Schedule it. If 9 o'clock in the morning is a good time for you 6 days a week, then it's 9 o'clock. If doing some things in the morning and some in the afternoon works, that's great. Schedule it. Track it. Make sure, hold yourself accountable. So you're going to do 3 days resistance training, 2 days cardio, 1 day mobility, and change it up so you don't get bored. Find something you love. I found powerlifting. It was my gateway drug, I guess, into resistance training. I can't even begin to tell you why I thought at 58 I should take up powerlifting, but I did. I found a love. It's led me down this really great path. You may have a completely different love. You probably will have a completely different love. Find something that you love, something that you enjoy. Try different tools. I have a couple senior ladies that love kettlebells along with me, and we've got a kettlebell club. Try different classes. I have seniors. Actually, the people in group classes where I work doesn't have a lot to do with age. I have seniors as old as 70 in regular group classes with 25-year-olds. I have young people in my senior classes because they're not really fit enough to be in a regular group class. And I have special classes for people who need to get stronger before they're safe in a regular group class. So there are all different kinds of classes. There, if you like to bike, there's spin classes. Find what works for you. I wish I could put this on a piece of paper and say, if you just do this, you'll get stronger and faster and better and have better balance, and your memory will be better. I wish I could do that, but I can't. This is a journey that you have to take on your own. But now you know the rewards that are out there for you as you go on this journey. So to conclude, don't be a victim of aging. You have some choices. If you're going to train for results. Use what keeps you engaged. If you hate getting up and going and taking a specific class or doing a specific exercise, don't do it because you'll lose engagement and you won't want to go back. Do what fits you. If you need to train in a chair, train in a chair. If you can take an advanced class because you're strong and healthy, take that advanced class. Do what fits you, but don't stop moving. And make it your new job. An hour a day is a good investment in the ability to stay strong and independent for the rest of your life. So first, thank you for letting me spend some time with you today. I know 6 days a week sounds like a lot. Get clearance from your doctor and start where you are. And remember, there may be some things you already do. You may play tennis, you may play softball, you may walk, you may use the treadmill or the elliptical or run. So you may already do some of the things you need to be doing. More than likely, the resistance training is what's new to you, especially if you're female. Find a trainer, find a gym, find a class, find a strength class, and learn about resistance training and start building muscle and getting the benefits that will help you age as well as you can. So training to age is important to me. I hope it becomes important to you, and thank you for your time.
Excellent job, Joni. Boy, you put it out there for us.
So do you have your list? Have you seen anything? Hi, Purvi. Hello. Do you see anything on your list that you thought you couldn't change that you can?
Sadly, my list is spot on. No things that I have particular control over, but I have to admit, I already trained to age.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Hi, Bob. Any questions?
Bob, you're on mute.
What is pickleball?
Pickleball is a racket sport. It's played on a court. It's a little bit smaller court and it's played with a paddle. So, and it's like a wiffle ball, so it moves slower. So a lot of people that are older and younger play wiffle ball. So pickleball.
Is it less likely to cause injury or?
But you're not moving as fast because you've
Okay.
just got a paddle. And when I played in Springfield, I was new to it and really clumsy. And so they put me with other people who move slower. And then, you know, the leagues, the really good, fast people, they all played with themselves. So they generally kind of hook you up with somebody moving at the same speed. And the ages were probably 50 to 90.
Okay.
A lot of guys that played tennis ended up playing pickleball because, you know, they'd slowed down a bit, but like that. So.
Joni, you want to share with them that you're a world record holder?
No. because I was the oldest. I've got the state national record in 3-lift powerlifting. And I'm going to try to get, thank you. I'm going to try to get at least the deadlift record when COVID's over, just because they don't deadlift a lot now because they do a lot of other things. I teach kettlebells and I love kettlebells. And I'm just doing so much. Competitive deadlifting takes a lot of energy, and I'm kind of spreading mine out into other things. So.
I've been training to age for a long time. I started probably a lot, even earlier than Christy. But you opened my eyes to some new possibilities. So I'm really thankful to have heard your presentation tonight. I knew about kettlebells, but never really thought about them. Pickleball is something that's really big out here in my new community in Lanark. And I've wondered about it. So I'm glad for that additional information. It makes me want to get more involved in that. And, you know, I really appreciated your breakdown of how to spend my hour each day, you know, and so for me, walking's big, and I do yoga and Pilates and, you know, strength training as well. But I haven't really focused on the strength as much as I think I should. So, you know, more the flexibility, the core strength, you know, so I really benefited from this. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything. And lifting, you know, that's something I think I could really get into. So thank you for that.
You know, with the right trainer, or how to do it safely, it is. The lady you saw deadlift was, I think she's 59. The lady you saw pushing the sled is 75. And they just, especially women, they pick up something heavy and they don't get hurt, and they're just like, can I do it again? And I'm like, yeah, it's amazing, because they've not been on that side of the gym. And there are no rules about that. The young girls don't have a problem at all going over there. But a lot of the ladies, I'm like, no, I can't go over there because I'm going to look like a man. And I'm like, I promise you won't. Let's just try. And man, once they get started, it's unbelievable. So I didn't know, there's a really good study. If you go out and you just search brain health and resistance training for seniors, there's some awesome studies about dementia. And I don't have this exactly, but they took some women who were pre-dementia in their 70s and 80s. They didn't have dementia, but they were on their way. Part of the group did some kind of basic training. The other group did formal resistance. And when they finished the study, they tested the groups, and the women with dementia had changes in their brain, improvements in the brain matter that has to do with memory. They tested them 6 months later and 18 months later, and those changes were still there. So, I mean, the brain health, the heart health, those are the things that I was just like, really? Wow, cool, you know. So there's a lot more benefit to resistance training than just getting strong. Those muscles are the engines of our body. And when we lose those engines, we lose a lot more than just strength. And I ramble, so I'm going to stop now.
Actually, I had a question. So this is almost, it sounds kind of like a second career for you. What are some of the things that you did once your interest was piqued?
I quit my job. I had been in IT for 35 years and it was killing me. I was way overweight, had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. But, you know, I raised my kid by myself and, you know, paid off my house. So, I mean, it did its deed, but I was really unhappy. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with feeling good. So I quit my job and I had a gym up here ask me if I'd want to come up and be a trainer. It's closer to my daughter. I was going to come up here anyway. She's in Park Ridge. And that didn't work out, but an Anytime Fitness hired me, and I'm, you know, I work 4 days a week, probably 6 or 7 hours a day. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get up and go to work. And I work with all kinds of people. Battle Rope Betty is 81 years old, and I wish I could have found some pictures. But her husband's really ill, and so I didn't want to bother her. But you give her a deadlift or a set of battle ropes, and she just grins ear to ear, you know. So I just quit my job and came up here and hoped it worked out. And now I'm trying to write a book. So
It's neat.
Other questions or comments for Joni?
Joni, thank you so much for doing this. I know you're so busy, and when I made the video and presentation, I know it takes a lot of time. So
I think I got a little carried away with that, but at least it's done now and it runs itself. So,
and you've been very helpful and encouraging to so many of us. So thank you so much for.
Thank you for having me.
I think one thing that people might find helpful, Joni, is I know you talked a little bit already about how to find a trainer that's good for you. But speaking from experience, I did not find a trainer that was good for me. I ended up with needing to see a podiatrist. I mean, it exacerbated existing problems. I ended up with severe sciatica for a long time because who knew pushing a sled full of weights is not good for me.
Well, and you have to train. Yeah. You have to train up for it.
Right. So what are some things that people hear? What are some key phrases, some words they can say to their trainer to make sure that their needs are going to be met and that the trainer knows how to meet their needs, especially as we age?
I think you have to be willing to say, I'm not going to do that. I tell my clients, you know, no pain. If there's any pain, we don't do it, period, end of subject. And if you don't want to do it, I may say, okay, explain to me why. But if everybody has a right to say, I'm not doing that. Have a nice day. And I found with my trainers that the same thing. You know, here, have some more weight and pick it up. Or push this. I mean, I can push a heavy sled, but I've been doing it for 7 years now. I don't put a bunch of weight on a sled and tell people to go. Some of the trainers at the gym do. So you have to be willing to say, I'm not doing that. You know, I'm afraid I'll get hurt. Is there an option? What else can we do? And you know, if your trainer gets all uppity, then go find another trainer because they work for you. But that's the thing I see is people are given tools A, they're not ready for, or B, they're afraid of, and so they don't get in the right positions and they get hurt. Find a senior trainer. People that train seniors, they know about knees and backs and sciatica and shoulders. And, you know, I do a lot of shoulder work with people. A lot of people of an age can't get their arms all the way up. Sometimes it's because there's an injury. Sometimes it's because they just haven't seen daylight in 35 years. And so then you have to you work on it to increase that range of motion, but you don't jerk their arm up. And you have to be your trainer's boss. You know, he or she's working for you. And if you don't want to do something and you say, I don't want to, and your trainer says, well, then walk. I mean, you're paying them a lot of money to keep you healthy, not to break you. So Tell him Joni said I don't have to do it. You know, because I see that a lot with seniors. You know, they just get aggressive, and you can't do that on joints that haven't moved that way in years. So
No,
Can I say too that one of the things that I miss, you made the importance of being in a class, in a group, or with a trainer.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've been doing since I've been in my current position at the Lanark Church of the Brethren is just, you know, training alone in my basement.
Mhm.
And I really miss that stretching that a trainer or even a class instructor provides, that you know, you need to do this just a little bit differently and you'll get more out of it, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I do miss that. So thank you again, because you've encouraged me to like go find a trainer.
I'm looking for Zumba Gold. I love to dance, and when this opens up, I'm gonna find a place to do Zumba Gold because, you know, and again, we had Zumba, but our room is too small now. I don't think we'll ever get a whole group of people in our room. So, you know, there's lots of things you can fill it up with if you can just look for it. There's plenty of trainers. I don't know where you guys are at, but in this area, there's just between here and Oswego and Montgomery and Sugar Grove, and there's just tons of things you can do. And I'm at a gym, but I'm going to be looking for them when they open up. So
I'm in the sticks.
can you have a neighbor over? That's what a couple of my people do. They get together and work out in the basement and do dance videos. So
Bob or Rosie, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, just telling, went to, anyway, I went to the Oswego over here and they showed me exercises to get me stronger. And when I came home, after this thing with Joni, I realized I'm not exercising long enough and I'm having trouble with balance. And two of the things I thought I have a couple of weights down there, I should be lifting them. And I go down in the basement, I lift them and I put them back on the bench, but I realized I need to lift them longer. And I have another one of these fake bicycles, sit down pedal things. I need to start using that because I'm not training long enough according to what, you know, I just went through my method. It takes me about 15, 20 minutes and I quit. Well, I should do it longer than what I've been doing. And maybe I'll get some of my balance back. And Joni used to show us things at our church. And I don't remember them all, but I remember some of us guys had trouble with balance. And my balance has gotten worse just the last 6 months. So.
and when it opens up, I can come back by and show you some stability drills I've been doing. My clients are working on being able to do 1 minute with their foot off the floor by the end of the year. And so we're all working on it together and we're working on stability because I can't fix balance, but I can help you be stable. So, you know, Pervy, holler at me when we get back to real church again, and I can run over and show you some stability drills because they're easy. And I don't know why I didn't know before now or why nobody's teaching them, but it's really glute and leg strength that you need to work on. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know where their glutes are and what they can do with them. So have me over for a thingy and we'll do it.
By the way, those people who don't know, Joni has been helping my congregation where she comes and does that. We haven't done, of course, since last year or so more, but she comes, give us like an hour class. He gives us a printout, what to work for the rest of the month or something, and come back again after a while. And we haven't done it a while, but yes, Joni, hopefully pretty soon you can
Yeah,
come.
we'll do a thing on balance and stability.
Definitely. Yeah.
And Joni, we miss you a lot. And you didn't mention anything about music. You also have music going along with your exercises.
Well, yeah, because it's fun.
Yes.
It should be fun, and it shouldn't be torture, and you shouldn't hate your trainer, and you shouldn't get hurt. And so you have to look around. The Oswego Senior Center is awesome when they were open, and they will be again. And I think they have Zoom classes. They had line dancing. They had pickleball. I don't know if they will when they reopen. And they had Tai Chi, which is awesome for balance. So you have to look. You just have to go out there and find it. And it's, you know, it's important because your life depends on it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, Joni, you've certainly added a something very nice to our potluck this year. So we
Healthy, too.
and healthy, yeah, exactly. Potlucks aren't always the healthiest at a brethren gathering. So we thank you for that. And tomorrow, folks, this is our last evening. Tomorrow we start at 10 o'clock with worship as art, how community energizes practice. And with Jonathan Shively again, and we know how he did last night, so you'll want to come and be a part of that. And then come and enjoy the worship service at 11 o'clock. And you'll get to hear some more beautiful music. Joni, Jocelyn Watkins piano. It will be the whole thing at the end as the postlude. So lots of opportunities. Please invite others from your congregation to come and join. But thank you for being with us tonight. Have a good night. Blessings.
Good night.
Night.